Oh dear. Well, just imagine my shock here when we hear Matt Hancock today starting to plant the seeds back down again for a tier system. And don't forget, we were laughed at a few weeks ago when we started a campaign to warn people this would happen. They said, oh no, they're campaigning for no reason because we'll all be out on the 21st of June. Well, look what's happened. Isn't it funny? Once again, our crystal ball or my magical tinfoil hat seems to be able to guess what's happening right in front of your very eyes. I mean, how silly some of those people must feel now for not trusting us. But I tell you what, they're really going to have to start waking up soon because they are coming for our children. Well, imagine my shock when Matt Hancock today started sowing the seeds down again for a tier system with this new variant, the one from India now, which is quite odd because no other country seems to have it, which is quite strange. But anyway, we got it here, and so now, once as predicted, they are now setting the scene up to have local lockdowns again, just as we said they would. Yeah. Now, we were laughed at a few weeks ago when we ran a campaign locally to warn people about this, and they said, oh no, they're wasting their time, everyone will be back out on the June the 21st, and ba-ding, what happens? Exactly what we said would happen. Now, Matt Hancock's got a lot to answer for, as we know. I mean, he broke the law, giving contracts to his mates, and people should be asking why he's still in office, to be quite honest, you know? It's absolutely ridiculous, and it just goes to show the corruption involved with all this. And we know, like, he and other MPs do have shares in pharmaceutical companies, which obviously the more jabs they give out and stuff like that, and PPE, etc., then the more their shares price rises and they cash in on it. They got the power to do this. It is just so corrupt. People need to start asking questions now. How is this still being allowed to happen? You know, it boggles my mind. But one thing that's really concerning me now, as they keep inviting the lower and lower age group to have this experimental vaccine, and make no mistake about it, they are coming for our kids. There's no doubt about it. You know, what would it take people now to get angry about this and say enough's enough? You know, why would you give a child an experimental vaccine, or anyone who's healthy for that matter? This is really sick what's going on, really sick, and there's no justification for it. You know, and remember we was laughed about the health passports. Oh, that's not going to happen. Look what's happening now. So we'll have that two-tier society where if you don't have a jab, you can't go abroad or whatever, and you can't perhaps see family and stuff that you haven't seen. That's how sick it's getting. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, I mean, what else will it take for people to wake up? You know, I think if the people aren't questioning this now, then they're too far gone. They've been too far radicalized, and you might as well just forget about those sheep. You know, they're the ones that insist everyone has to have a vaccine just because they've had one. You know, but that's not good enough. This could well be dangerous. We don't know. It's still an experimental phase for another 2 years. Why in God's name would you give your child something like that? I really can't get my head around that one at all. Really can't. But I'll tell you what though, we need to start rising up now. Enough's enough. This is only continuing because we're allowing it to, you know? And it's not going to stop until we stand up and say enough's enough. They've gone well and truly past the line now. And you've got to start trusting, well, people like myself and those who do our research. I mean, we know what we're talking about. We don't just pull this out of a hat. We've got loads of different sources of reputable sources that obviously the mainstream media won't talk about, you know, because they're all a part of it. They're all just as bad. They're just as bad as those people in the government, people at the BBC and all that, who are allowing this to continue and brainwashing people. You're all sick individuals, you really are. They will come after our kids. This was never a part of the deal, none at all. So you need to get angry now. We're not going to accept this any further. We've got to rise up because it will never stop. It'll just keep perpetually happening, just as we've been saying. And the longer we let it go on, the harder it is going to be to break out of it. Now think about that, and think about our kids, the ones we're fighting for. Enough's enough now, yeah?